We read in the parsha of how the Leviim were initiated and installed to take the place of the B'chorim. The Jews had to put their hands on their heads. They had to be waved. They had to have the hair removed from their entire bodies. And why did this process have to take place? Because the B'chorim, initially, who were supposed to be the Kohanim, as a result of the Chet Egel, they were disqualified because they became tainted. So the Leviim, so the Kohen, assumed the ultimate role of officiant, and the Leviim were designated as to be the assistants of the Kohanim to assume the responsibility also of the firstborn. That was the initiation process, and that was the purpose of this whole procedure. So after it was all done, the Torah tells us, "Yas Moshe v'Aaron v'chol adas b'nei Yisrael la'Leviim." Moshe, Aaron, and the complete entire adas b'nei Yisrael did to the Leviim. Chol ha'shetziva Hashem es Moshe la'Leviim. Kein osulem b'nei Yisrael. So here the Orach Chaim HaKodesh makes a point. The pasuk begins, who did what Hashem had commanded them? Kol adas b'nei Yisrael. And when it concludes, it says Kein osulem b'nei Yisrael. Doesn't it Kein osul kol adas b'nei Yisrael or kol b'nei Yisrael? The Torah concludes Kein osulem b'nei Yisrael. So he explains, V'nireh sheniskaven b'kefel Kein osul b'nei Yisrael ala b'choros. When it concludes, that's what the Bnei Yisrael done. That's speaking specifically not, well, all Jews had to wave them or had to put their hands on them. But it explains, this is what the Bnei Yisrael did. That's speaking specifically to the B'chorim. And we're acknowledging something special about the B'chor more than all the other Jews. Although they replaced them, they assumed capacity which they originally had, which they actually forfeited. Something which is painful. Very often we try to get it over with quickly, and we're not meticulous in fulfilling the mitzvah as it should be done. Because here, by doing this, the Levi is assuming what they rightfully had. So there's a pain involved. But yet the Torah is attesting to the fact they did it exactly as they were told. The Bnei Yisrael, this is not going to Kol Bnei Yisrael. The total process, all Jews were involved. But when we want to acknowledge the specialness of the specific segment, this is the B'choros. The pasuk began all Adas Bnei Yisrael, V'Omer Bnei Yisrael, Ki lo al kulam medaber hakosov kan, ela prat echol ha'kobor. We're speaking about one segment. Therefore, although it was painful, wasn't so simple, nevertheless they did it, and that's what the Torah is attesting to this fact. We find many times the Orach Chaim HaKodesh points out Moshe Rabbeinu, although he had forfeited the kuna because of the incident of the burning bush, the sneh, because he was considered obstinate and it was considered disrespect, nevertheless, many times later, he had to be involved in certain things that there shouldn't even be a trace of that sin to be fully reinstated. Because he says, although a person could have kapora, but to be fully reinstated as if it never happened, it's not so simple. That's not simple. We find that by Aaron and Bonav, when they were installed to be Kohanim, he had to install them. He had to anoint them. He had to dress them. Why? And he did it selflessly. He did it b'simcha. Although he understood by doing that, this is something which would initially been rightfully his and his children's. There was no degree of holdback. He was fully invested with simcha to do it, and as a result of that, that was the full kapora. So the initial kapora atonement was he forfeited the kuna, but there should not be a trace of a sin. It's already another level. So over here, the B'chorim, they forfeited, but they have to be replaced. They're involved in the replacement process. The B'chorim, like all Jews, what are they giving up? They never had the right, but the B'chorim had the right. It's not so simple. But again, the Torah here is not saying that we're speaking about. There wasn't a question of this has to do with the Chet Egel. This has to do just in terms of the quality of the Bechorim, in terms of the level of negation to Hashem, that although they understood that it was due to their own mistake, the Chet Egel, that they were no longer qualified, they were tainted, nevertheless, understanding the value of what's being done, they're giving this up. I just want to say one thing. It's interesting. In terms of Moshe Rabbeinu not losing the kuna, we always say, mitzvah bo Yosef b'shlucho. You'd say, well, the Kohen is what? He's the shlich of Klal Yisrael. As much as he's the agent, he's acting on behalf of us, but still he's special. He's considered more special, the Kohen. The reason the Torah tests, Ki Hashem hu nachloso, Hashem is his nachlo. That's the reason why they receive no portion of the land. The Kohen and the Levi, they have no share in the land. They're more special. And as a result of that, Moshe Rabbeinu, even though they're acting on our behalf, mitzvah bo Yosef b'shlucho, there's a greater mitzvah we should do it ourselves. In addition, they have an independent status. So over here, the Bechorim also bring out this point, although initially they would have been the Kohanim, it would have been Hashem hu nachloso, the Bechor was the Kohen, nevertheless, understand that they're forfeiting it, and normally to be difficulty with it, nevertheless, they selflessly, meticulously fulfill the mitzvah of Hashem.